If I was your best friend, I'd punch around all the time. Girl, I'll be your best friend if you promise that you'll be mine. You say he's just a friend. Now, girl, let's not pretend. Either he is or in your mind. Please say he's just a friend.
Should you have another child just because you have one child and you want to give them a sibling? Well, that depends. If your goal is for them to be best friends throughout their lives, that may or may not happen. According to the research, 2/3 of adults who have siblings are friends with their siblings. 1/3 isn't necessarily close to their siblings, and a whopping 8%, that's 8 out of every 100 siblings, are completely estranged from one another. In other words, they have no relationship. We do also know this, according to the research: if you are going to have more than one child, how you parent those children, do you parent for connection? Do you parent for the good of the relationship, not only yours with them, but also theirs with each other, can make a difference on the likelihood that your children will grow up to be friends. So something to think about. It's a personal choice for sure. Please pick up the book, Peaceful Discipline. Please like this post and have a great day.
So for a long time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to stick with just having one kid or add another to the mix. My husband really wanted to, but after a tough pregnancy, a few miscarriages, and really bad postpartum, both kind of physical healing, pelvic floor stuff, but also postpartum anxiety and depression, I was really anxious about having two. And there was a piece of advice I got that really helped me make the decision and, move forward with having a second child. And that piece of advice was, don't think about what it's going to feel like when the kids are babies, when you are, trying to potty train a toddler and breastfeed an infant, or, when you're in lockdown during quarantine. Hold on, baby.
What's that?
It's called a TicTok. What you should really think about is what you want your Thanksgiving table, Christmas table, Diwali table, fill in the blank, to feel like one day far in the future. What does it look like 15 years from now, when you're gathered with the family you created? And let that be your guide. Think about your future and let your future guide your decisions versus your past and your current experience, because things change. Life is transient. Life is ever evolving, and our kids change too. And the relationships that we could potentially have with them for the rest of our lives is worth thinking about just as much as what it's going to feel like when you have two little crazy ones running around.
Swinging in the backyard, pull up in your fast car, whistling my name. Open up a beer and you say get over here and play a video game.
Is this? Ambulance. Where's the ambulance go? Good job, Papa. School bus? Where's the school bus go? School bus. Good job. What's this? Car. Where's the car go? That's the sound the car makes. Where's the car go? Okay. Good job. What's that? What is that? Airplane. Where's the airplane go? Where's it go? Good job. Good job, baby. What is this? Fire truck. Okay. What is this? Choo-choo train. And it goes here? Yeah? Okay. Do you know what this is?
Car.
It's a taxi.
Huh?
Taxi.
Yes, taxi.
Where does the taxi go? Good job. Okay.
A boat.
Boat? How do you know what a boat is? Where does the boat go? Bike. Good job.
Hey.
Where's the bike go? Where does mommy put the bike at? Right, good job.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. And time makes us bolder, even children get older. I'm getting older too. Yeah, I'm getting older too.
So for sure, some personal preference and some lifestyle factors have to come into play here for you when you're family planning. But from a safety standpoint, ACOG recommends against an interpregnancy interval of less than 6 months. So you give birth and then you get pregnant less than 6 months later. That has some risks to it. Also, if you had a cesarean section, giving birth less than 18 months from your last baby has an increased risk of uterine rupture. And interestingly enough, an interpregnancy interval of more than 5 or 6 years, that also carries risk with it. So there's some info for you to think about.
I made a video talking about my experience growing up as an only child, because I think moving forward, there's going to be a lot more only children, definitely more than there used to be. So this is a really great question. In my video, I highlighted the positives growing up. And when I think back about being an only child and growing up, I actually really only have positive. To answer your question though, I have 2 children, and I was very adamant on having 2 children. I also had a small family. So not only did I not have a sibling, but I really had a super, super tiny family. And I personally always longed for a big family. Not necessarily brothers and sisters either. You know, I wanted like aunts and uncles and cousins and people that were active in my life so we could have big family gatherings and things like that. So I think before I turned 18, that was what I wanted more. Then I would say around probably 18, 17 up until now, and especially now, I would love to have a sibling. Somebody you can go through life with that really understands where you came from, what your childhood was like, what your parents are like, what you're like inside. I had my hands full with one child, but I was adamant, and here's why. Number one is the support system. I know it's not guaranteed with siblings. You always hear there's trouble among siblings and stuff like that, but I do know if I didn't give my daughter a sibling, there's not even a chance of a relationship. The plan is that my daughter lives long past me and my husband, and I want her to have someone to do that with. That was sort of like the vital, the critical part for me that I didn't want to, it was non-negotiable. But then on top of that, you know, is kind of those inner selfish feelings of I always wanted that big family. And already, like during the holidays all the time when my kids are running around and I hear their little feet and they fill up the house, I already get validation for my decision to have 2 kids all the time. The importance, the bond that they have is like of the utmost importance to me. This, like my marriage, you know, it is very important to me that they have a great bond. And so I want to do everything I can to help that grow and facilitate that.
I'm so curious to know how moms with multiple children decided how to like space them and like the age differences and all that. Because part of me like just wants to have them like super close in age. But another part of me, a bigger part of me, is like pregnancy was tough. I didn't like being pregnant. I talk a lot about like how I hated, and I mean like loathed, the newborn stage. And like, am I ready to go through that again? There's also the fact that I just want to be able to like enjoy him. Like he's my first baby and he's only like this age once, right? And like being a first time mom only happens once, right? Like you get this experience once. So I definitely want to like soak it all in and enjoy it, and yeah, just take it for everything that it is. But there's also like the age thing. Like I'm 30 and I obviously don't want to be like a super old mom, and I don't want to be like older when I'm pregnant. So like I'm just like picturing like if it was difficult for me at 29, like I can just imagine, let's say like at 35, how like the effects of pregnancy would be obviously a little bit more challenging. But at the same time, like we're only now starting to like get into a routine. Sleep is starting to get like better. And I hope I don't jinx it now that I've like put it out there, because I feel like whenever I mention that like sleep is going well, then it all goes to shit. So knock on wood, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, I'm just super curious like how you moms kind of like justified it, or like what your reasons were for doing one more than the other, or having them like super close apart, not close apart. And I'm also curious like what that like magic age gap is between them.
When the baby wakes up and cries in the middle of the night, will that wake my toddler up, or will she just sleep through it? How do you get them both in and out the car? Like, who do you sort out first? How do you make sure you're spending enough time with both of them? I feel stretched out enough already. Will she be jealous of how much I'm holding the baby? Will that jealousy then shift and she'll then want to be fed by me and have contact naps all over again? What do you do if your baby's crying and then your toddler decides to have a tantrum at the same time? Will I be able to go to baby classes and bring my toddler with me? Because I don't remember anyone doing that when I went before. How will I get through the intense newborn stage whilst looking after my toddler as well? Like, there won't be that downtime that I had before, will there? What happens when you're out and about with both of them, but the baby needs changing, your toddler needs entertaining, they then start putting the toilet roll down the toilet, baby's trying to roll off the changing mat. I've only got one set of eyes. How do these mums do it?
I just recently went through the transition from 1 to 2 kids, and here is my advice, at least in the initial stages. Number 1, accept all the help and don't feel bad about it. Number 2, you'll probably go through this period of missing your firstborn, so try and schedule some just quality time between you and them. So whether that's bedtime, maybe you go for a walk together, maybe you read a book together, just the two of you. Number 3, try minimizing saying that you can't do something with your firstborn because of the baby so that they don't start to resent the baby. Number 4, have the baby bring your oldest a little present when they first meet each other. Number 5, try to be conscious about etching out time with your partner. Every minute counts. With 2, you just have way less time, at least in the beginning. And number 6, know that it's just a phase. So in the beginning, when it's really hard, it's going to change. Give both you and your partner lots of grace.